Hello, everyone. This is Hendricks from Starseed Talk. We are going to interview this lady about her awakening and where she's from in the universe. So, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Oksana. My awakening started in, I guess it was July 2016. And I had a strange, I used to meditate a lot since I was 16. And I started getting this strange, like electric type waves throughout my body. And I got to the point I couldn't even sleep at night. Um, so I had my first session, and I found out that I'm from Series A. I've also been on Series B, and I've seen myself being a scientist there, and also a sea creature. When I was little, I don't remember anything from my childhood until the age of 5. And all I remember, and I used to wake up in the middle of the night, almost every night, go to the window, look at the brightest star, and cry. And like my mom would ask why, and I would say, I'm not from here, I'm from there. But then in my session, I found out that that's my first life. I honestly thought I was adopted. I used to tell them, you're not my family, I'm not from here. And like I had this kind of slow awakening, but it's usually through very dramatic experiences. I lost my mom when I was 21. I had to take care of my 10-year-old brother. He almost said son. And um, so basically, it's been like flashes of memory coming up. And lately I started remembering how I used to be abducted when I was 5 from my bed. That's why I was afraid of staying in the room without the light. And the lights would have to be on all the time. And then the ceiling would open. They would abduct me physically. And I remember they would take me to some military base in the spaceship. It would just kind of like, like a net of light would come and take me. And then they would take my soul, essence out of my body. I would see my body on the ground, and they would project it into different, all I remember is like kind of like cyborg bodies. They're dark, they're black. Because I've also seen how they took over Series A, and they projected my essence into the black type robotic beings, and I was fighting. And then, because
Do
my
you think this was part of
8-year-old,
the secret space program?
I very much relate to it, because what I see in my sessions when I put people in hypnosis, they tell me there is like black triangle jets behind me. And when I see it myself, because I also go in hypnosis during the session, I see round spaceships, and they're military guys. And when I had my session I had the session with this Italian guy called Grifasi. He's like international in hypnosis. He was taught by Aurelio Mejia, who's in Medellin, Colombia. In the US, I had a session with Alba Weinman. But yeah, I've seen myself on different spaceships. I've seen myself a lot in military uniform, but I wore different military uniforms. So, and then the type of spaceships, it's like a capsule for one person, for me only, or that it just kind of flashes of memories. It's crazy. And then I see myself on a huge, gigantic spaceship, which has like layers and layers, like almost like floors, multiple floors. And there is like a floor where you can see the park type of forest, and then there's a floor where there's just like growing babies. But I think it's more the childhood memories, because they're all mixed up.
Yeah, they
I
like to use children at a very young age, and I want to reflect on what you said about how you told your parents that you weren't really from this planet. I had this same experience when I told my human mom that I wasn't really her child. I was just an incarnation from the Draco system, and it took her about a couple years to understand and wrap her mind around it.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to. I mean, throughout my life, I just don't relate to humans. When I see myself, my body, I just don't even really understand
We all
who
have
I
a hard time
am.
fitting in when we're first here.
Right.
Especially high school and
And
school system is such a hard experience for starseeds because we don't really fit in and we don't understand it. We don't get humans.
I don't get the systems at all. Like, I'm so bad with math and numbers. In my head, it has to be barter system. I don't understand working for somebody. I feel like they're suppressing my nature and my free will.
That's called the slave system. That's a draconian system. That's only on slave planets that we work for the dollar, or the Babylonian money system, or someone is higher power than us. That's the pyramid system.
Right. That's why, I mean, I cannot. I worked for 10 months with this one regressologist as a telepath person. For those who cannot go in hypnosis, I would go for them, connect with their energy sphere, and tell them all about their parallel lives and where they're from and all this. But I mean, at some point, I couldn't work with her anymore because of just the oppression, the
I
control,
have
and
the same problems with people.
oh my, I cannot. I mean, it just like I took a course and became a regressologist myself because she's also mean. I feel like people are so mean. You know, the way they hurt you with words, with everything.
Humans are definitely worse, and I live amongst Dracos, and Dracos aren't even half as worse as humans are. Humans are the worst beings I've ever met.
Right. Yeah, I mean, she seemed to be so aggressive to the clients, and I didn't really have the choice, like the voice to tell them. I would try to kind of be diplomatic and in a way compensate, talk to them behind the scenes after the session, but then she didn't like it. And I'm very open, like I don't know how to lie. So if I talk to somebody, I tell her, she gets frustrated, then she yells at me, and then she tells me, well, I'm yelling at you, but you told me the truth. Why am I yelling at you? Like, she had this moment.
So let's back
So
up to more of the introduction here.
right,
What
right.
is like what is do you have memories of what Sirius A and Sirius B look like and the aliens that
Very
live there? Can you describe
right,
them?
right. Series A is like a huge blue glowing planet. It's like it has a rainbow aura around it. And I have the rainbow energy in me. That's what came through the session. But I see myself as a blue energy body. And I saw Lyrans coming there. And we like lived with them, like Syrians and Lyrans. I recently remembered there was some sort of lab under the water. Like we had, this is on Series B, sorry. I mixed them up because Series B is small and it's water. And that's where I see myself, like amphibian being a lot. So I usually see myself either a soldier or a scientist who travels around the universe from planet to planet. But I've also seen some planets that have been destroyed in the sessions. Like I saw it that I was a scientist. I would plant life on the planet, and I would come back, and I would go on, like, back in the timeline, and there would be some hand or some spaceship coming, or just from the atmosphere, from the sky, they would drop some drops of black stuff, like slimy, kind
Oh,
of
the
liquid.
black goo that James Rink always talks about.
It kind of looked like that, but it was more like watery to me. That's from what I saw in the sessions. And it would literally burn holes in the ground in those planets, and it would just spread like cancer, kind of like it would just burn up everything, all the
Maybe
surface, and
you're
the
a serious B scientist incarnated on Earth to understand humans and be a scientist here.
yeah, I mean, I was told by my own high aspect, high self, whatever you call it, my major energy that up here, that I came here like volunteered. But then in some parallel lives, I saw that I was kind of how do I call it? I mean, forced by giants, captured by giants,
Hmm.
giant beings with gray skin. They're gigantic. There was just like round heads, elongated on the back, but the face is kind of
Oh, the
roundish.
Adamites.
I think that's how they're called. I mean, I don't know the
Adamites are from Mars. They're an ancient race. They're very super tall, elongated skull, super pale gray skin, very roundish face, and they're like
right.
they're very demonic. They're not they're the ones that set up the control system, the Dracos, when they got here. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice to know. Yeah, that's what I saw in the session, and they captured us. We were 5 scientists. We're trying to. We didn't have the sun, and our planet was in the shade. So they offered us to give us technology, and we came there. And once it turned on that sun, it was like a huge metallic AI thing. It kind of captured that was us, was the light. And then I remember being in some lab, in some test tube as the essence, as my soul energy, and then they sent me to Earth. Um, so it's kind of like, when I go in hypnosis myself, I see these timelines all over the place. They're just constantly moving. And also each session I had, I've seen myself, aspects of me, one aspect incarnated as a volunteer, another one was sent here by force.
hmm.
But that's exactly, how I see it myself.
Does your current family know that you are an incarnated starseed? Do you talk like this in front of them?
No, my mom died. I mean, she passed when I was 21.
Okay.
And actually, after her death, I started seeing energies. I saw her soul flying around me as a ball of light
Yeah, that's what we all are at
because
the
I
end of
was
the day, just
so
little balls of light.
shocked. Right.
So
And my
you have
daughter,
kids? You have kids, right?
yes, I
So
have 4. I have 4 kids. And
oh wow.
I always see myself as a male everywhere in all the lives. I feel like I wanted to be a female here to experience it because I also gave birth at home and wanted like the experience, the pain, the highest possible. But I also don't feel it as much as others. They don't get it. I mean, when I go to the dentist, I don't need any anesthesia. They go insane. They say, "How come you don't feel it?" But I
Now, what I
don't.
really want to reflect on, because you might be good at this, is you have 4 children. Are for mothers and dads that are star seeds incarnated, are any of your children star seeds?
Right. Yes, they are. I mean, my daughter, the first one is really asleep. The second one, she's 10 now, but when she was 2.5, she was at the dinner table and started telling us how she used to live on this green planet with animals, predominantly bunnies. She used to talk to them. She was in a light body. She described herself as an elf, but without the wings. Um, and she said she drew the picture and she told the story how she was pushed here on Earth to incarnate here. And she sees orbs, she sees disincarnated people,
That's a
she
very good
sees
positive thing what you're saying
energies.
right now, because I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like there's a lot of parents that are asleep and they suppress their kids when their kids are talking about this stuff. I've seen lots of kids at like say Red Robin dinner and they're talking about aliens and the Anunnaki and what star system. They're like 3 years old and their parents are telling them, "Oh, it's just your imagination. Stop believing that stuff." And they're completely like dumbing them down. So if any parents are listening today and you have kids that are talking about stuff, you need to embrace it because your kids are telling you the truth. They are from another world.
Right, that's exactly the message. That's why I opened my channel too. But I mean, I do it in 3 languages: Russian, Italian, and English. And I also tell them the same thing, because when you behave and act as if it was normal, they open up and their memories start opening up too. And my daughter, she had a session with Kalogero Grifazi, and she was talking about Greys, reptilians, and Dracos like it's nothing you know,
That's
special. Like
amazing.
she's known them. I mean, I can send you a link. It's in English, actually. We did sessions in English with him, even though he lives in Madrid and he speaks Spanish, Italian. I mean, he does sessions in all kinds of languages. And she's done 3 or 4 sessions with Russian regressologists. I mean, she goes in hypnosis. Like, she tells me sometimes, "Mom, I live in hypnosis. This reality is not real. It's like a computer game." When she closes her eyes, she can go to any planet I want her to, and she clearly sees
Yeah, I
it.
have that. I have that ability too, where I can literally lay on my couch, close my eyes. I open my eyes in my head. I'm literally floating, astral projection in another world, and I can hop into a body there and live in completely entire lifetime while my body is existing in this timeline.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And my 4-year-old, since she was 3, she can telepathically like read off the names of people. She knows how everybody, like, what the names are. I mean, I discovered it by accident because the old lady laughingly asked her, like, "What do you think? Guess what my name is?" And she goes like, "Your name is Maya." This lady almost dropped. I mean, it was her name. And she reads my mind. She reads my thoughts about everything. She
Sounds like
tells
you
me
have a
ahead of
few
time.
diamond children in your or a few of your
Yeah,
children, diamond children. Yeah.
daughters. And the second one has this huge deep eyes. Everybody says like the size and not of this planet. um I'll send you the pictures afterwards. But yeah, they're very different. But my 8-year-old boy tells me every morning when he wakes up, "I've been in training again. They've taught me how to go through obstacles in the jungle." And then,
Oh, he's being trained in this in the German. We were talking about this with James Rink the other day, how kids are being taken to jungles for obstacles course training and for special forces for the Dark Fleet. So he's might have been a recruit already.
right. And actually, I watched that video with James Rink,
Yeah.
and it shocked me how it coincides with what he tells me about it. And I actually made a short video right after he woke up with him on my channel too, in both languages, Russian and English, because I mean, he describes it to very detail, and he can climb any tree without branches, like literally. And people tell me like he's all muscles. How does he do it? I mean, nobody knows how in the world this kid can do it. But he can climb any fence, anything. Like, he tries to climb on buildings. He tells me, "Oh, it's easy to do," you know, almost like a Spider-Man. But he's never been really obsessed with Spider-Man. But he feels like he can do anything he wants. Like, there's no limitations to his physical abilities.
Sounds like he's being a recruit for for to be a super soldier in the Dark Fleet.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. It actually kind of hit me when I was watching your interview with James, and it really did hit me. Like, you intuitively know that they're talking about something that your kid is involved. He's been telling me for a while about it. I mean, I always listen. I'm very enthusiastic about all of this. I just couldn't connect it to the way, because he tells me also that in parallel life he lives with the wolves in the jungle. And he told me, when
Ooh,
I
the
grow
wolves in the
up.
jungle. I've had that training.
Really?
Where I was in the jungle as a super soldier running through the jungle, and there was these giant wolves in there, and they would never attack us, but we can telepathically talk to them in our minds, and they would be body height would just be just as tall as us, and we were 8 feet tall. So these 8 foot tall wolves. They were really long, really big,
Mm.
and when we would run, they'd run right next to us, like really fast, and we can talk to them telepathically and give them commands. So that's pretty cool that he has similar experiences.
Oh, wow, interesting. Because he says like he's living with them. He likes them. He's like them.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So, and he tells me like they teach him different things too, but how to do different kind of.
There is a wolf. species called the Wolfen clan. They're direct allies with the Dracos too, so that he might be working with them.
Mm. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, he tells me interesting. My kids are like pretty amazing. Like it's just the firstborn who's totally into this system. Like he doesn't really.
You have
He's
one one
absolutely
sleep.
right. Well, one is totally asleep.
He'll have his
Yeah,
awakening later. He might actually just be a reincarnated human. So
yeah, yeah. I also see like draconians in his energy sphere who controlling him
yeah,
when I look at him, and they're like pushing him to get emotional response from him. He explodes like that so easily, um, and he tries to do it to me. I mean, overall, I've been experiencing a lot of things. Like since I started doing my own sessions, I mean, I see like spaceships all around me, watching me, projecting some lights, covering me with the red light sometimes when I'm in a session in hypnosis, like helping the client to see and to confirm what he sees, stuff like that. But I developed my skills too. It's almost like the more I develop the skills, the more memories I open. Um, it's like flashes. I mean, I saw in hypnosis once, I was a mechanic on this spaceship round, and I was checking on some water, and it was running on like liquid crystals. And I woke up with this thing, thought like, how do I know how this thing works if on Earth I don't understand anything about mechanics, or like I'm so bad with computers too. I mean, I just don't get technology. I feel like everything should be connected to your mind, just like the way I fly the ships.
that's
You
how we
know, ev-
fly ships in the dark fleet. There's no buttons when you go into the cockpit. You're laying in a lazy boy, and your mind's completely connected to the ship, and you control everything with your mind.
right. Yeah, he reads off of my mind. Like I tell him the directions. I mean, the ship is like it's kind of like in some lives, I have this suit with a zipper in front, and it's like my second skin, and it's almost alive. It's like made out of live cells.
Those are
It's the
called
same
smart suits.
technology. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same kind of technology, I guess. But
It's usually what we all use in the dark fleet or SSPs. It's like suits that are kind of like skin, but they're nanotechnology that connect to the mind. You can like morph weapons or body armor. They can heal you, make you run faster, make you stronger. Some of them can even teleport you across the galaxy, which is thought too.
yeah, that's exactly what I remember. And I also noticed you mentioned in one of your interviews or something that you type very fast, something like that. I don't know where I read it, but that's my problem too. Because when I talk to somebody, especially typing, I feel like I typed more, and then I go back and no, I didn't. I did
Your
not.
camera cut out. Oh, okay, there we go.
It's because I have 20% left on my phone, the battery. Um, yeah, it is as if I'm trying to talk telepathic with people. and they are hard, and I'm very fast with everything in life. Like, when
See,
I do
my
something,
biggest
it's
pet
fast.
peeve with humans is communication. I can communicate so much faster than a human being can. Like, for example, like texting someone is too slow for me. That gets me irritated to the point that I don't even want to communicate with the person anymore. The only way I can communicate is through telepathic or there's a verbal speech, and that's
Mm.
also too slow. But it's also my mind works so fast that sometimes my mouth actually jumbles up words and blurs them together because it's trying to spell the words even faster.
Yeah, that's the same. And plus, and then I wonder why they don't understand what I said. Or, I mean, it's like you're trying to tell them one thing, but they understand it totally different way. And that,
I get
that
that all the
drives me
time. Yeah, it's
insane. It
crazy you
drives
say
me
that.
nuts.
I say something in my head and I'm saying it, but then they misinterpret it the wrong way and they get a negative feel for it and they get cranky about it. And I'm just like, I didn't. I said something completely positive. Why are you getting like a negative reaction to
Right. That's exactly the same thing. So I got to the point that I feel like you can't really say anything when you're trying to be, helpful, or just say the truth about something and then talk about it.
Humans don't
I
like the
don't.
truth. I've tried that. They think it's
No, no,
offensive.
no, 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 no. No, that's how they just block you. they they erase you from everything without even trying to figure out what you try to say, or
That's so true.
what
Like
the problem
starseeds have such a
is.
hard time talking to humans and trying to educate them. They just actually just block us, delete us, or they make fun of us.
Right. Yeah, that's how I got blocked by this regressologist I worked with. I mean, I for 10 months I worked with her, but it's like I wanted to do my own sessions, and she wanted me to belong to her as a telepath person, but I cannot. I want to grasp everything in life, and I jump from one thing to another. I learn so fast, that everything's interesting. I can't just because otherwise it's too boring. It's the same thing over and over again every day. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just super boring.
starseeds get super bored of humans, so that's why it's very hard to date them. How are you dating with humans? How do you find it?
Yeah, I'm just mostly like I have hard time. I really am. I mean, the idea of they don't want you to succeed. They don't like when you're liked by others. When you're succeeding in something, you're starting. They start getting jealous. I don't understand jealousy. I got to the point with that regressologist that she would yell at me that I never get angry. She said, "Oksana, you should learn to get angry. You don't know what anger is." I'm like, I mean, this is fantastic, but because I really don't. And then the
Mm,
humans are trying to use that against me, because I'm so kind in a way.
Yeah,
I'm
my hardest thing with humans dating is I still don't understand it today. I don't get it. So say you're dating someone and then they behind your back, you're not with them, they lie and cheat on you or go do something behind your back. But if you're not present, they think it can't hurt you, and then they go hang out with you. And I'm empathic, so I can feel they're lying. And then I always catch them, and they get mad at me for calling them out and catching them. And
yeah,
they don't like being accountable for their actions. So then I'm just like I'm like I don't know how to act, so I'm like confused because they're like I want an honest, loyal, nice guy. I'm like okay, honesty, 100% honest. They think you're offensive and rude and disrespectful. It's like I'm so confused. You told me you wanted me to be honest to you, and then yeah. So it's hard. It's the hardest thing about dating human beings.
right. Yeah, I'm just open too. I mean, I honestly say every move I make when I'm in contact with somebody or working with somebody, I don't hide anything. And they take it like they misinterpret it. They even misinterpret my moves, physical moves, what I do, how I try to help everybody at the same time. They don't like that. They want you to belong to them, to serve them.
Yeah,
And I
ownership.
don't
That's
get
their
it.
reptilian side.
Oh yeah, right. So if you're with them, you're with them. I am just blocking you. You're not with me anymore. But I can be with them and with you at the same time. They
Yeah,
don't get it.
me also being like alien and trying to date humans, the weirdest thing that I just finally kind of comprehended was breakups. I was just like, when I had my first breakup when I was like 18, like I was just like so blown away is that like you were with this person, everything meant about this person, and then the next day you can see this person in public and they don't even look at you. It's just like I never ever comprehended that. I thought that was the weirdest thing about human breakups.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And also another thing, I mean, I tried to live in Italy, then I came here, and I just never feel like I'm at the right place. And I realized that, I've been looking for a country where I would feel comfortable, but there's no country where I would
It's
feel
not on Earth.
comfortable.
When you first did your
Right.
introduction, I like how you said that you looked up the stars, you started to cry, and there's so many star seeds that have a similar thing. We always look at the stars and we think of home, right? Like home's up there, and you're just like you say, you're trying to find a country. There's no country that's gonna make you feel good until you go back to Sirius.
Exactly. The same thing with languages. I'm trying to learn every language I can because I love languages, but the humans still don't understand me. And what's the point? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to speak cat. so I can talk to them.
I love cat. I'm obsessed with cats. I'm
Most
literally
aliens
like,
are, eh? Most aliens are obsessed with the feline race for some reason. A lot of starseeds have cats.
right.
Right,
Well, I've
baby?
seen them on series. I mean, in those, they wear this interesting, like metallic, how do you call it in English? You know, like, I mean, they're amazing, those feline race.
Aren't the Lyrians a feline race?
Yeah, if they came from Lyra, but I
Yeah,
saw them
Lyra, yeah.
coming from Lyra to Series A in my session because I also saw like crystals growing out of the ground on Series A. And when we wanted to produce a baby, like we would just connect the two energies and the baby would just be in our arms and they would grow so fast. And those crystals that grow out of the ground, we would just use them for to keep information like database. You know, I can literally hold them and transfer from my hands the information into the crystal. I've seen that before.
Yeah, I was on a planet where when we wanted to create a family member, we just thought about it with consciousness, and then the family member disappeared, like a new person just appeared. That's how we created each other.
Yeah. By the way, my 8-year-old, he wants a black cat. He says because his best friend in those training sessions with the black jaguar.
Oh,
He
that's so
literally,
cool. I love that
yeah,
he's in the SSP. He must be a new recruit. That's so cool.
yeah. You
You should
should see
ask him. You
his
should ask him what
eyes.
you should ask him what his off-world planet name is. Or his unit number is.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask him when he just wakes up, he remembers a lot of stuff. He has these big blue eyes and blonde hair, very long. He says, "Mom, that's how I am there. I'm with long hair."
You know, I
Yeah.
love these Starseed talks that we do because I want humans to actually watch these videos because when they actually see our aliens talking on a YouTube channel and we're not even making any of this shit up, this is all real and we're talking about our memories. Because I'm sick and tired of alien or humans being like, oh, you guys are liars, you're making shit up, you're crazy, you just have a crazy imagination, or worse, religious people be like, that's the devil talking through you, that's the devil worship in your mind. I'm just like, no, bro, like we're most aliens are anti-religion. We're here to get rid of it. We're here to help you wake up so you guys can join us offline.
Right. Oh, you know, there's one recurring scene that I see in trance when I just lay down, close my eyes. I'm in this military uniform and I'm going on Mars and there's like caves filled with children and I take them out. I like save them. I pull them out. Like we have these weapons like laser type things and we open up caves and take the children out. I mean, I have this, it's like a short vision I have, you know?
Yeah, if the humans actually knew about, because I've been in some missions where I liberated underground bases filled with children, like that's all over the galaxy. Like they use the children for food, sex slave, and adrenochrome all over the world, and all over the not all over the universe too, and it's everywhere. Like most alien beings love to feed off kids because they're of their innocence.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen those being eaten by, I mean, I've done so many sessions with other people too. And
I've
I mean,
seen
how
gray
they,
looking beings hop into a hot tub looking machine, and then there was tubes connecting to this coffin looking glass coffin, and there was kids in there, and these kids were screaming in pain, and the tubes were slowly sucking out their life essence and their minerals of their body, so their bodies were disintegrating and shrinking, and these alien beings that were in the hot tub were getting like a cocaine high from all the nutrients and life force from these kids.
no, that's crazy. Yeah, my kids sometimes even fly together. Like they wake up and me and them have the same exact dream. My little one, 4-year-old, talks a lot about the crystal planet with dragons. She describes the sky as like being multicolored, like a rainbow color. The crystals all over, and there's dragons, but she says like they have the body of a human.
Oh, is your phone
Uh,
dying?
I think it is. Yeah, they're hybrids. I think that's what she's describing.
Do you have a charger or no?
Well, I can charge it against the tree. No, I have an iPad, and I can probably switch to iPad.
Okay, you can switch
I'll need a code though.
Huh?
I could switch to an iPad, but I need a code. I have it right here.
Okay, I don't think I don't know if I have to stop the recording. I don't know how to do this if you switch over. How long are we doing this for?
I mean, we can just stop it and then
We can
maybe
stop and
do
do a
part
number.
two.
We can do part 2 next time. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I like
Thanks
we
a
definitely
lot.
got more to talk to. Maybe we'll do it in a week or so here. And
Right.
my kitty
Great.
wants to meet your kid.
He took a picture of a cat like that, put it on the wall, and said, "I'm manifesting the black cat in my life." And my 10-year-old manifested a bunny. He was literally given to us as a gift because she said she came from a planet where she would telepathically talk to bunny-like creatures.
Yeah, it's crazy. Most of our animal population on this planet are actually like beings from other planets. This is just like a massive experiment where all the species are put together on one planet.
Right. She also told me she doesn't understand humans. She told me, "Mom, if you talk to me about aliens, speak Russian because Americans don't know Russian. Otherwise, they will think you're insane if we're on site." Yeah, she said,
That's so funny.
I want to go live in Florida, play with dolphins, communicate with them telepathically, and only be with animals all my life. I don't want any humans around. That's
You're
what
such
my
a good mom because you actually explore these thoughts with your kids. Most like when I was a kid, my parents would just tell me to shut up, that I'm just seeing things and imagining things, that like, it's just my imagination. Like when I was a kid, I had to sleep with a nightlight on too, because if I didn't have a nightlight on, they'd always come and get me, and I was sick and tired of them fucking kidnapping me all the time.
Yeah, my mom was different. My mom told me that there's no that it, she used to tell me only fairy tales tell the truth. The television tries to control you, and there's only that we are all creator beings. We create, and there's no God. She used to tell me there's no God. It's made up to
I
control
always
you.
used to say that too, that there is no God. We are all co-creators of our own reality. We are all gods of ourselves. We all travel the universe and create our own realities.
Right, but she was taken. I mean, I done a session and I saw she was taken on purpose because, I mean, they didn't like that she was so advanced and her consciousness level was so high.
Yeah.
She died from cancer at 47.
So yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
well,
thanks for coming on
thanks
the
a
show,
lot.
and
Thanks
we'll
a
get you
lot.
back on in a week or so. Thank you.
Okay,
Good night.
thanks. Bye.